Certainly a big story we've been watching over the weekend. Let's talk about the market sentiment.
Well, currently, as you correctly pointed out, is more about sentiments in the market. Of course, what we understand is that markets usually they price in any risk factor that will come in the moment or before an event can actually occur. So what they are looking for exactly now, it's the issue of the international oil price. You might have seen earlier this morning, we've seen international oil price increasing because of several risks that they are pricing in. I think one is the movement of oil. Remember, the epicenter of this conflict is not far from the Strait of Hormuz, which has been contested for quite some time. We know that Iran, for quite some time, they've been trying to occupy that particular area. They've seized several vessels. And it's very important because it's a passage where about 20% of the global oil, they use that particular passage. So what you're likely to see again is an increase in terms of the reinsurers, the risk premium, because they will factor in that particular risk because of escalation. In fact, Americans have actually increased their presence at that particular strait so that they can monitor the situation very closely to see what might happen. So what the increase in the international oil price, it's factoring what could happen in terms of the movement of 20% of global oil. They use that particular maritime route. So it is quite significant. Some countries are also thinking of measures. For example, Korea, they've concerned about this. They're starting to look at other measures. Should that particular maritime route be disrupted by this conflict, what is likely to be the issue? That how are they going to deal with it? But we understand that many European countries have tried for quite some time to ensure that that route is protected.
And certainly, we're seeing some of the airlines there also, holding off on some of their flights. How bad has it been?
Well, it's more of a precaution. Precautionary measures, obviously, depending on where people are sitting and what they are, the information that they have, they will consider that. But there were many other airlines that have continued flying into Tel Aviv, and they continue to do so despite the delays that they are experiencing. There will be different factors that they would have to consider. I do expect that there will always be some airlines that will maintain this until it's actually obvious that it is dangerous to fly into the area as tensions escalate over the next few days. It will be very clear to understand also in terms of the trade, various countries that trade with Israel, what could be the impact. But what could be the immediate impact is that the risk premium in terms of moving goods, exporters to Israel, might find themselves paying a premium because the reinsurers might want to price in that particular risk element, and that might eat into their profitability.
Sure. And back home now, Tshepo, something else is happening tomorrow, and that is the president receiving the results of the census. And let's talk about that because that is also critical when it comes to looking at economic growth versus the population and what we are seeing unfolding in that regard.
I think it will be very interesting to find out what has really changed in terms of, I think, number one, migration. More and more people are moving from rural areas for obvious reasons. Government has tried several initiatives to make sure that there is activity in rural areas, but we continue to see many people flocking into big cities like Johannesburg, and that is having a huge impact on infrastructure as we're experiencing water shortage and all that. And it's a big challenge. I mean, cities like Cape Town have tried very much to ensure that movement is not slightly controlled in a way. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the provision of services also it's captured by these results that are coming out tomorrow from national, provincial, and municipal. And I think the big one is to see the growth in population. the sub-Saharan Africa, in the world, continues to lead the pack in terms of population growth. And I mean, I was thinking about it that for quite some time, we've been saying that with over 60% of our population being 25, we're seeing this as an opportunity. But is it really an opportunity? Are we leveraging on that? I mean, some years back, we were talking about the growth in middle class, that the growth in middle class would be a panacea to drive economic growth, ensure that new industries, because they will be coming with a lot of spending power, but we're not seeing that. So there are a lot of questions to ask about this, but we'll be watching very close to see what the outcome of the Census 2022 is.
And I cannot wait to hear about it because, we often talk about this as it's been termed by officials in the past, rapid urbanization, people flocking into Johannesburg, people flocking into cities, and, the infrastructure also crumbling. But I'm very interested, as you say, to see that particular movement again, especially the context of the elections and what it also looks like. But Tshepo, thank you so much for giving us the update there, and hopefully you speak again, especially when it comes to this issue of the census. That is our SABC News economics editor, Tshepo Mongoai.